Kyle, welcome.
What's up, Pete? How we doing, man?
I'm doing well. It's good to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. First time talking to you. Pleasure speaking to
Yes,
you over on Twitter.
yes. I figure most of the audience will kind of know you from your Kirk appearances, but
Yeah,
I'm Pete, I'm the producer. Manners hired me to kind of be an assistant producer for some of the shows on the network. So here I
that's
am.
dope.
I kind of heard you were doing a gambling show. Figured that was right up my alley as well. So I'm
That's perfect.
glad to be here.
Now, how was dealing with Menners? Is he a conniving little fuck like usual, or how was that
It was
experience for you?
it was quick and easy. I'll have to give him credit. He it
All
was about 5 minutes. I got on, said I could figure out how to run StreamYard, and he was like, "Great, we'll have you."
right. He'll take anybody with a pulse, right?
That's what it
But
seems like. So if anything goes wrong with the recording or any of this, you can blame Manners for his vetting process because
yeah,
I think we got it
I
though.
think we'll be just fine. Digging the jersey, perfect, perfect. Just want to welcome
Yeah,
everybody to the Sporto podcast. Sporto podcast. Someone said to me the other day, like, "Why did you think of that?" Because I think everyone's a Sporto, and I got it from like Kirk, and, like Sporty McKenzie. Um, I can tell you're a Sporto with that for sure. So, but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this show. Really excited for the show. Got a lot of guests lined up for us, Pete. I know like one of them, like Montante will pop on. I know that Visualist Dave will pop on. I know Mike Cologne. We spoke. I don't know if you know Mike Cologne, Mike in New Haven, Puerto Rican
we
Chris
haven't
Clemmer.
we haven't we haven't spoke yet, but I'm excited to meet him. I kind of heard a little bit about him through the world.
Yeah, the guy's an absolute just weirdo, but God, he's. I find him interesting, and he's definitely a sporto. But yeah, man, like really excited for this. I know we spoke earlier. You're a big Philly fan, is that correct?
Yeah, diehard Philly sports.
Philly
Eagles,
sports.
Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, in that order at the moment. I
So
used to be a big Sixers fan, but considering the current James Harden situation, I'm taking a step back from at least regular season basketball for the
mm,
time.
yeah,
It broke my
yeah, he's a
heart
real
for
piece of shit.
yeah, and that whole situation was such a piece of shit for so long. I remember going to games when they were in total tank mode because tickets would be like $6. You could just pull up, no
Oh,
one would be there. But at least then you felt like they were building towards something. Now it kind of
right.
seems like the only direction they're headed is downhill, which is a tough place for a
Oh,
franchise to be.
yeah, 100%. Especially with my Knicks coming up on up and up right now. And then
I mean,
Giannis could come to the
especially
Knicks
still
too.
flirting with them.
Oh yeah, we're in a great spot. But we'll go over too. We'll go over like NFL preview. Little preview. We'll do a college football. We got some picks. We got a great, great, great contest for the Meta fans that we'll show like probably towards the end of the show. What you think, Pete?
That sounds good. Yeah, I guess just kind of give me your idea for what the show is going to be before we dive right into some of the
Yeah,
sporting news for this week. Because we spoke a
yeah.
little bit on Twitter, but are you just kind of envisioning more picks or kind of just revolving door of like kind of Skip Bayless like debates? Like, what did you kind of see when you
I think
pictured what the show would be?
I honestly like for me for the Sporto podcast and for us, I envision like a giant sports riff. So like if we want to come on and like bash, like the Pats one day, or like come on and bash like if the Eagles, blow out the Giants again, that I can just come on here and lose my shit. And then we say things that we normally, wouldn't say like on Twitter or like, on a phone call to Kirk's show. You know what I'm saying? I also want to like, talk about like, Kirk's like sports interests. Um, as well as me, like, I don't know if you know this, but I work at the Garden. That's why I'm like the ticket guy, Kyle.
Yeah, that's about all
So
I know
Bruin,
about you. I just know you have
yeah,
tickets.
yeah. If you need if I'm the plug, I'm the guy you need. So, but like it's anything like Bruins and like the Celtics. Like I'm gonna say I'm a beat guy by any stretch, but like I know some things. I'm boys with the head coach of the Bruins. No big deal. But like stuff shit like that. I think it's an open riff, and I think like when Boxing guy comes on because he's another Giant guy, we'll just start going after it. And when we play the Eagles, we just go after it, me and you, and Voxini Dad or Mike Cologne or even fucking Montante when he comes on. But I think it's just like an open vessel for like, guys who want to just chop it up about sports coming on, chop about sports. And then obviously like the big, surprise, like towards later, like, we give out gambling picks. We go over a couple games, couple teams that we got circled. I know you got a couple games circled for this weekend. I got a couple games circled for tomorrow. Honestly, I'm really jacked up. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm excited to start losing money on college football again. It's one of my favorite times. So talking about it will be fun too.
Nothing better than like at 11:30. You had like 9, 10, 11 beers. You're like sulking in your couch. You lost like a couple $100. Like, oh, Oregon's at Arizona. Okay, yeah, let me throw some money on that. There's nothing better than that. Or like, a Wednesday night, you're bored, you should crush like 3 edibles. The Mac is on.
Trying to
hell yeah.
Out of with the Pac-12 is once you're starting to bet Pac-12 late night games, you're down bad.
You're in a tough spot. Yeah. What did you think? What were you thinking about? I linked the little Sporto podcast on the bottom. You said you talked to mentors about it. What are you thinking about for the show? What are you looking for? What are you looking to get out of it? What do you envision for the Sporto podcast?
So from my side, I kind of came at just toward the network, just wanting to be able to learn a little bit more about production, kind of be able to get some experience like producing some shows, and like KMS and the network was like, I'm a big KMS fan, so that's really the only place I'd really consider it, like want to spend my time just like lending a hand to, because even though we give him a lot of shit, I think what he's doing with the network is pretty cool.
100%.
And then when the opportunity came to kind of do the Sporto podcast, where it's just like a blank slate when it comes to just do whatever you want, say whatever you want when it comes to sports and gambling, that kind of just felt like a natural fit because I've been doing that all my life. I kind of got into gambling during COVID when no sports were going on and it was just Korean baseball. And I had a future on like the NC Dinos to win the championship that year. And
oh my God, dude.
A few old Phillies from the years when the Phillies were just down bad and all their players like left the MLB to go to play baseball. And I was like, I know this team. They can't do it in the major leagues, but they should be able to tear it up in Korea. Then I was kind of hooked with that sense.
Shit. I think I bet on one game that year, and like I fucking smoked. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna waste my time with this, But shit, man. But yeah, I agree, man. Like
everything going on with the network right now, or everything with KMS, I guess, in the world. Do you have any opinion on who this next producer should be, or were you looking to even throw your name in that hat?
Fuck. I threw my name in for the dot the I's and the T's type of role. Not really as a gimmick, because like I was like, oh hell yeah, because like I work as an operations guy and like a substitute teacher, like it's my full actual salary job. So like I have like operations stuff, bullshit like that on my resume. But in terms of producer role, I actually have that down here. I tell you what, man, I'm a big after today. I think I have Augustus at 1. I don't know if you heard the show today.
Yeah, no, I listened, and I agree with you. I like Augustus, and he seems like the only guy who can actually like do the job. And I know it might not be the hardest job to do. I've learned how to do it over the last few days pretty quickly, hopefully. But he seemed like the most technically sound. I was in with Tommy Quinlan. I was the guy who called in and asked if they could call his parents. But after the Menors appearance, I kind of agree with Kirk in that I don't know if he's the best fit for KMS. But I don't know if I can figure out how to produce effectively with the Sporto podcast, then I'd be open to Montante being able to figure out how to do it. But under pressure with Kirk going at you is a little different than just me and you kicking it, talking sports. Excited to see what John Rich does, but we'll kind of be able to see.
That was my number one until today. I mean, I want John Rich to get it. I think he would fit like effortlessly right in. I understand like he doesn't know the the knowledge of the KMS world or even like the Minifan world, and I get that, but I think he could adapt quickly. And like, I mean, we've seen with like the Yak and like what he's done at Barstool already. He's a perfect fit because he brings in the Barstool crowd. A, B, he has all the connections that he is a dot the I's cross the T's guy, and C, he has a fucking brain. Like no, none of. I mean, he's a crackhead. He probably does meth. He's probably doing it right now on the rooftop. But Montante can't fucking push enter on a keyboard. You know, he can't press the space bar to like pause a fucking podcast. How do you expect him to run the show? So that John Rich is my pick. I want him to get it. I think he would be awesome. I think he could take the beating. But fucking Augustus, man, something about him, that squirrely little fuck.
Yeah, he kind of had, you could tell, I feel like Dave felt threatened because he might actually be better with the technical stuff than Dave is.
Yeah.
And Dave, it was the
Yeah.
first person that Dave was like not on board with. Like Mick was in the studio and Dave was like, yeah, I think he could actually be great. It's like everyone's getting rave reviews from Dave until this guy comes in and Dave's like, I don't know, something's off. And it's like, maybe that something off is just that he knows what the fuck he's doing and like doesn't make it for like all his help. But let's dive into some of these sports topics you had. Where'd you want to start?
I mean, I had Yanks, the Yankees say. I saw a tweet from WFAN. Thank you, Josh Donaldson. And I was like, what the fuck is this about? And I think it's like a genuine tweet. I don't know what they do over there in Philly, man, but like, you guys are notorious for like booing your players and throwing batteries at Santa Claus. I don't think there's a world where insert Philly radio station says like thank you, bum ass player who did jack shit for our team, right?
Well, it's funny because very recently, I don't know if you've heard about the Trey Turner situation, but we signed him for like $300 million, and he has been awful. He was a Philly killer his whole career, and then as soon as we give him a bag and he gets to Philly, he can't run, he can't hit, he can't field. Like just one of the worst players in the MLB. And he was kind of getting down on himself one day after like striking out 4 times and just like in the cages until 1 a.m. apparently. Like your classic like NBA putting up shots after missing like a bunch of shots in the game kind of thing. But Philly fans decided like, what if when he comes back home, so they're on a road trip, we give him like a standing ovation.
Yep.
Just to kind of show like we have his back. And ever since they gave him that standing ovation, it was kind of tacky at the time, and the radio stations like were divided as they always are. And like said, this is stupid and killed it. Others were kind of getting the fans rallied behind it. But he's just been going on a tear. He's hit like 9 home runs in the last 20 games. Like he just hasn't stopped hitting. So I don't know. Philly may be a different town than it was 20 years ago, because I don't think during like the John Kruk era Phillies in the 90s that they were getting applauded for hitting 230 over the course of the year. But a couple World Series appearances, we have a little bit more of an optimistic outlook now.
Well, they're definitely fun to watch, and they're definitely a fun bet. Like I love betting on like Bryce Harper home run money line parlay. That's one of my like favorite things to do. Or like the Schwarber home run money line parlay is like plus 330, like on like again FanDuel or whatever you use. But like it's fucking awesome. They're a fun team, and I like Castellanos. My favorite thing to do is immediately bet hit or home run whenever like something tragic happens during a Phillies game, because your boy is just gonna fucking pop one off immediately, which I love. But
and they've been fun the last few weeks just live betting, because the last like 10 or 11 games they've fallen behind in like the first 2 innings every game, and they've won like 9 of the game. So it's just they fall behind like the Angels 2-0, and then you live bet the Phillies once they become an underdog again, and that's always a play.
Oh my bad. The fucking Angels. One thing about the Angels, I mean, we're seeing teams that looked like they were going all in at the trade deadline. Not all in, but like, oh, we're going to keep our team or add a couple pieces. We believe in the team. How fucking stupid do they look not trading Ohtani now? And now how fucking bad them, like putting Giolito on waivers, the Yankees putting fucking Bader on waivers. They're put Spencer Howard, the guy they got from the Phillies, on waivers, a relief pitcher. Like, it's insane So like you think that like now Otani's 100% gone, and they won't get anything for him, and then hopefully Cashman's gone. I wrote that down like Cashman. I have fucking like demon pitchforks coming after him. He's a fucking scumbag. I think it's just crazy that like the teams that like stood pat or added like a couple pieces because they believed in their team are fucking destroyed now. Like the Yankees are done. Like I won't even watch them. Like I got their fucking Roku fucking thing going on right now in the background. They stink and they're not fun to watch. But the Phillies, man, Phillies got a good shot.
Yeah, I've been lucky. Where do you think it went wrong with the Yankees before we move on to college football? It's just like obviously the Stanton contract, but it's just hard for me to imagine whether it be the Mets or the Yankees how a team could spend so much money and win so few games. And I haven't been following too much American League. Like what? I guess is it the pitching? Is it is it Cashman who needs to go? Is it the coach Aaron Boone?
I think so. I think it's the whole philosophy. My father watches every game religiously, and he calls me about like 4 times a week, like at sporadically, just talking about the Yankees. And I think it's run its course. I think the philosophy of we're going to hit home runs and bomb the ball every game just isn't working. You got to get on base. I mean, look at the Astros. Can they all hit home runs if they wanted to? 100%. Altuve's not concerned with that. Bregman's not concerned with that. That fucking kid Kyle Tucker not concerned with that. Their catcher, what's I forget his fucking name, but he's a bopper too. They got guys who just put the ball in play, no matter what. And if they square up, they square up. I mean, they have a fucking bandbox down there in Houston. But coming back to the Yankees, they have a park built for left-handed hitters. They have Rizzo. That's it. Fucking Stanton sucks. Judge, say what you want about Judge, his injury history, he's worth it. Him, he's the only player worth a shit. So now what you did is like even they got close to the Astros, and then they got fucking steamrolled the past like 5 years between the Astros and the Rays and the Red Sox too. The Red Sox stink, and like that's on my list here. The Red Sox stink, but they're scrappy because they can put balls in play, and the Yankees just can't do that. So like when guys like Bader, who you like who will 100% perform for any other team besides the Yankees because that's how it works. The philosophy just sucks. You need more than just home run hitters. They're pitching. Herman, beat his wife again, so he's gone. Severino, shell of himself. I think the clock just ran out on them. Honestly, I think their window is done for a while. I think you won't see them relevant in like 2 to 3 years, honestly. So I mean, it's a shame because like they're nationally televised maybe 5 times a month, right? Between ESPN or TBS or fucking Fox. So now they got to scrap those games. But I hope Cashman's gone. I hope and Boone's just a product of like the Cashman home run analytical philosophy. So like he can get the fuck out too. I mean, it's nice seeing your manager get into riffs with the umpire, but it's tiring, man. They're a boring fucking team
So
to
you need a
watch.
few of them each year, but when he's just losing his mind and your team's sitting a few games below 500, it's like, all right, what are we doing here? And that's tough because that would be the prime years of Judge's contract. So to be able to turn around quick enough to be able to take advantage of his career is going to be tough. That's kind of where the Phillies are, and I'm glad they're starting to be good because they kind of went all in with Harper, and first few years it wasn't looking good. And it's like you can't do a rebuild when you have Harper on a 13-year contract.
No. Well, the Yankees missed out on Harper.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to roll into this Minifan Mixer presentation? Kind of explain
100%.
what these picks are, and then we can kind of get into football and start talking what our picks would be like. All right, so I got this little banner. So win tickets, weekly college football game, NFL tickets. And then we could do Minifan Mixer. All right, so you want to kind of explain what you were thinking, and we can kind of play out just how exactly the contest will work.
Yeah, so I had an idea. Me and Pete were talking about it. We made something up together. The Minifan Mixer, it's going to be a weekly college football and NFL contest for Minifans, okay? At the end of the year, after college football conference championships, we will declare a winner, obviously, through standings, and they will win tickets via me. PSA, there's no sponsors. It's through me. and my connect. So through the not through the Kirk Minihane show, but through me. Um, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 3 picks per week against the spread, college football and NFL. So it'll be 6 picks total. If you are entering the contest weekly, okay, the picks must be posted before on X or Twitter before Friday night games. So like if there's a Wednesday MAC game, that's fine. Forget about it. Unless you really like it, then you can like DM me or Pete, and we can figure it out. But they got to be picked before Friday night or NFL. If you're picking the NFL games and you have an NFL game that you want to put on your card for that week, it's got to be before Thursday. Picks will be tracked obviously through standings. We'll have an Excel sheet or a Google Doc going with every Minifan going all the way down. We'll track everything. And like I said at the beginning, the winner will receive access to a show or a game at the Garden via me. Again, not sponsored by anybody, but really excited. I think it's a great way to engage with fans, Pete. I don't know about you, but like I'm really excited about this. I think we'll see a lot of like engagement from a lot of Minute fans. You know, I don't know if you're going to go to Saco. I'm going to Saco. You know, it'll be a good time to talk shit. You know, riff about gambling. I'm sure Montante will be drunk giving out fucking gambling picks. So, what do you think about this, Pete?
I like it. I think it sounds like a good plan. I think just a few logistical questions. I think as long as they send it to us, like via DM before that weekend, you know, we'll be able to get it in, but we just need that, you know, physical like proof, like whether it be on Twitter, DM, whatever. If people pick up the show a few episodes in, say like they don't get out for this first week of college football games, I think we could just get them caught up. We could by just sending in as not like if they're 3 picks behind, instead of doing 6 picks that week, come up with 9, just so all do this.
Yeah, so the percentages like balance out.
Yeah, just so it's not like you can do 3 picks week 16, come in with the tickets, you're going 2-1. But but like also it's casual. If you're interested, hit us up and we'll kind of figure out a way to work you in and get some tickets to the Garden for good gambling. And I think it'd be funny too to just kind of be able to track how our seasons are going and any of the guests that come on. Big slumps when we're on heaters, be able to kind of tail or
100%. I'm really excited for this. I think this will be cool. I think it brings a lot of engagement to the network. I think it'll get eyes on the show too. Like I said, and like we talked about, I just want to put out a good, fun show for the network. And I think something like this, a little bit different, you know, a little bit, you know, we're not saying, hey, you know, let's engage with a live comment section. If we do go live one day on the network, that's great. But like, I feel like this is like a great start for the show.
How many picks do you have for college football this week? Do you have 6 or do you have 3 just for?
I got right now, I got 3 to start, but I also got like 3 I was looking at. How many did you get?
Yeah, I was I narrowed it down to 3 once I saw like the rules of the contest, but I have like 6 or 7 on the card. I was having a hard time finding some underdog picks that I like this early in the season when I don't really have a great feel for the teams. I tend to lean toward what I know, kind of hammer the favorites. But what games were you looking at?
So I'll give everyone 3 actual picks. I'll give them 3 leans. As far as my leans go right now, I'm looking at the Nebraska-Minnesota game. I like Nebraska +7 as a lean. I also like, excuse me, another lean that I like Army -10. I'm leaning on that. And then my last lean, again, not officially a play yet. I mean, let's be honest, Pete, they're going to be plays by Saturday or by Friday night. My other lean is Boston College -8.5 at home against Northern Illinois. I like that a lot. What about you?
So I guess as far as I'll start with the ones I know I'm locked in, and then we can kind of talk through some of the ones I'm on the fence about. Clemson -12.5 against Duke. I know I've lost a lot of money over the last few years betting against Duke because I don't believe in their football program. I went to Wake Forest, so I'm down here in North Carolina.
Deacons, baby.
And we've been doing good. I'm waiting for the line against Elon on Thursday night to come out, but for whatever reason, that's not posted. So keep an eye for that as a potential late play. I like the Deacons, and I was never a Sam Hartman fan, so I think him going to Notre Dame isn't as big of a loss as people are making it out to be. And feel bad for the Irish because they're going to have to put up with his 3 interceptions in the second half of the championship game.
Yeah.
But Clemson -12, Penn State -20.5. Heavy favorite against West Virginia, but it's at Beaver Valley. It's going to be just one of those games where it's 110,000 people in the stadium, first week of college, people going nuts. Everyone's going to be there. And I think Penn State just whoops them. I don't know too much about West Virginia this year. I know they have kind of a veteran O-line, but it's West Virginia against Penn State. I'm taking the Nittany Lions in that one. And then my final pick, LSU -2.5 against Florida State. I know people are hyping up this Florida State team.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I know people. I've been hearing all offseason how good Florida State's going to be, but still going up against an SEC team early in the season. I just if Florida State wins this game, we're going to be talking about them in playoff contention throughout the whole rest of the year as they go through their ACC schedule. And I just can't imagine a Florida State team sitting at 2 a month from now. I have a much better, I can picture and visualize LSU in that spot a lot easier. So that's kind of where I'm starting with. What other game? So what were your picks? And then we can kind of go through some of my other games.
I really, really like that LSU pick. I'm not a big Jordan Travis fan as everyone else is. I just don't see it. And that game's in Baton Rouge, right? That's down in the Bayou, right? At LSU?
Yeah. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure. Let me pull it up right now.
I mean, even if it's a neutral site game, I know Florida State, travels well. He is a twig, and he's going to be going against a loaded SEC defense in LSU. And Brian Kelly's got the boys playing down there. And you got, first of all, I'll take their quarterback, the kid Daniels, over Travis in that system. I just don't see Mike Norwell doing a great job, going into right. Is it in LSU?
So it's in Florida at the Camping World Stadium in Orlando. I don't know if that's Florida State, but it's still, so that explains the line a little bit more, because when I saw 2.5, I was a little shocked, but still, I think I'm going to stick with my pick and ride with LSU for that one.
I like that. Yeah, I like LSU. I like that defense. I think they expose that kid early. As far as my 3 actual picks for the contest, Alabama -39. They're back. I think Saban's got a little chip on his shoulder. I mean, he's had a chip on his shoulder for 20 years. They're going to run the ball to death. They're going to hit him with a play action pass early. It's going to be a blowout. It's going to be like a 60-7 game or 60 to. It's going to be one of those games where you're like, oh God. You open your score action app, you're like, what the fuck is this? I think that's an absolute lock this week. My second one, actually, I wanted to change, but I'm going to stick with it. Utah -4 at home against Florida. Revenge game. I think they have the better coach at Utah. I don't like Florida at all this year. I think they lose a lot of pieces. And going into Utah going to Salt Lake is really hard to play. And week 1, I think Utah's been waiting for this moment ever since the debacle last year in the Rose Bowl for them. I'm really looking forward to the Utah team, even without Cam Rising. I think that backup kid can play. And then my last play, I can't believe I'm going to say this, the UConn Huskies +14.5 at the rent. UConn ranked 7th in the FBS in returning production from 2022, 77% of their 2022 production coming back this year. That includes 82% of offensive production and 72% defensive production. That sold me. Although this is a tidbit that scares me. NC State and Dave Dorner 9-1 in season openers. But They're 6-4 against the spread, and my thing is, if you're not 3 games over 500 against the spread, I'll take that dog all day. I'll take the points all day. Give me UConn at home, week 1, sold out crowd. Hartford's never been more alive. I'm all in on UConn.
I could see the logic behind that. I definitely am taking Alabama minus 39.5. That was one of my leans. It's just so many points. I didn't know if I wanted to make it one of my locks. Like if you're staying in the SEC, I was also thinking Tennessee minus 27.5. Like I think you could probably just go up and down the board and just take all these big SEC favorites against these trash schools week 1 and end up ahead. The only other one I had that I definitely like, I had the same idea for like Ohio State minus 30, but I like Virginia Tech minus 16 against Old Dominion, kind of an in-state rivalry game. But even though I'm pretty sure they're at Old Dominion, like historically, Virginia Tech has just been the bigger and better program. And it could end up being easily the same kind of game as that Alabama game where it's just not even a competition. But because Virginia Tech's so trash in the Power 5, they're not getting kind of that respect with the line. So 16 isn't as many points if you're kind of wanting to stay with that favorite.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. The only thing that scares me, I think Tom Fornelli tweeted out on Twitter, like, the worst offensive like percentages this year. So I think he said like Iowa's gonna be like a top 5 offense based on like projections because of like shit last year. I think Virginia Tech was on that list. And I bet they're not gonna be good, but I could see them winning by like 21 at Old Dominion. I can see that for sure. I really like that play.
That's gonna have to be a late play depending on how I'm feeling closer to game time. I'll do a little bit more research, but I have my eye on that one as well. Any other big college football or NFL stories you kind of wanted to get to before we kind of wrap up here? I know it's just the first show, but we'll get some guests.
I mean, we don't gotta get. But I think it was absolutely hysterical that they cut Zappy and then fucking Cunningham. They put him back on the practice squad. That was hysterical. And then, did you see? I don't know. I mean, I follow him because I live in Boston. Matthew Judon sent out a tweet. It was like, I gotta fucking look for it. But he wrote, I guess Ariana Grande was like, "Oh, I made this song for Mac Miller." I'm just paraphrasing. He's like, "Nobody gives a shit. You're the reason he died." Like, what a fucking wild thing to say. Like, what a beast. And I hate the fucking Patriots, but I love that motherfucker, dude. That dude is a baller.
I love when athletes, or really anyone from like a field that's kind of totally separate from, like, they enter in a beef that's just like totally not their business. But we get like that. We get that so often with Twitter, where we get like O.J. Simpson giving his opinion on like a current court case, and it's like, I'm glad we get everyone's feedback on everything now. And I like kind of following some of these roster stories, just because as a kid I was always looking to be a GM, kind of doing like drafts on Madden, all that kind of stuff. And you see some wild stories where like the Steelers kept 2 punters just because with the way the practice squad works now, like it's such a game of who you think's going to get claimed, who you think's not going to get claimed. So like we were all clowning on Belichick, but maybe he just knew he'd be able to get him back right in with the practice squad, whereas some other guys would be more likely to get claimed. But still,
and that's
I guess it's him saying to Mac, like, "You're our guy," which he hasn't done over the past few seasons. So that might shut up all the Zappy Pats fans.
Yeah, those people are fucking losers, man. I'll tell you, we got a bunch of them down over here, and I bet a lot of Meta fans are Zappy guys, and fucking they are the biggest dweebs, man. Like Mac is not good at all, like, but he's way better than fucking Zappy. By a million years too.
I'm confused just because like you're so used to Pats fans just being obnoxious, and when they drafted Mac Jones, they had to convince you that he was a good quarterback, even though he clearly was an average quarterback. And they're like, no, in this system he could be the next Tom Brady. And then games into Zappi's career, they're out on Mac, and they're trying to say Bailey Zappi is going to be a starter in this league. And it's just how quick they bailed on their guy once they got the taste of someone who could actually throw the ball. So I'm not a Mac Jones believer, but clearly Bailey Zappi wasn't the answer either.
Their heads are so far up their asses, and it's awesome. Like, for the first time in forever, I'm going to Jets Pats in January with the family and taking them up to Gillette. I'm going to be rocking the fucking Jets hat. You know, even though I'm a Giant fan, my dad's a Jet fan, but, like, I'm going to back him. I cannot fucking wait to see these fucking losers just, like, cry and bitch and moan, fucking throw up their $22 beers, walking out of the stadium. It's going to be delicious.
I mean, I can't wait for football season. Games at the Link, Eagles fans again. Phillies fans are great. It's a different environment once you start tailgating and get Cowboys in for a rivalry game. It's a different kind of rivalry for sure than just.
Do you hate the Cowboys? Do you hate the Cowboys or the Giants more? Honestly,
I hate the Cowboys more, and I feel like you probably say the same thing. Do you hate the Cowboys or Eagles more?
I hate both of them. I hate the Eagles because, like, we haven't beat. I think we're like 9-27 against the spread in our own division in the past like 8 years or something like that, or 5 years. I don't know what the exact stat is. It's fucking bad, but I know for a fact that we haven't beaten Philly or Dallas in God knows how long. I know Philly's good. I know Dallas isn't. So, like, when we lose to Dallas, it just sucks even more because, like, that's a beatable team. Like, yeah, like, I think, like, yeah, they got good players on their team, but fucking Mike McCarthy is a fucking dud, and we can't fucking beat him. Like, that just pisses me off. And plus, you gotta hear, like, all the Cowboy fans, like, you know, jerk themselves off. But it'd be nice just to beat a divisional opponent, not name the Redskins or the Commanders for, like, the first time in, like, 8 years.
Well, that's kind of why I would say the Cowboys. Like, most of my lifetime, like, no offense, the Giants games have been like a good game to play for the Eagles, where it's like, like Eli Manning was a decent quarterback, but it's no one that was like so scary that you wouldn't want to play him. It was like, if you have a good team, this is a good opponent. It's a good team to compete within the division. Like, the Eagles would usually come on top. Whereas with the Cowboys, it's almost like watching the Red Sox or the Yankees for me, where it's just such, like, visually, like, in Jerry world, as soon as I turn on a game, it's like, yuck, it's the Cowboys. And then whenever the Eagles go and play them, they lose, and I just leave feeling worse. So that hatred for the Cowboys has definitely built up. The Braves are getting close with the way they've been hitting, but I don't think anyone can be as hated as the Cowboys universally.
Them or the Lakers or the fucking Yankees. I mean, take your pick, because everyone hates those
once
three
the Lakers got LeBron, I think their hatred
went
up.
But 100%.
All right, do you have anything else? You want to just kind of wrap this up, send it over to Menor, see what he thinks?
Yeah, 100%. I think we wrap it up. I think we did a great job. I'm really excited for the show, man. Couldn't be more excited. You're a dope dude. Excited to work with you.
Yeah, I'm excited to meet you virtually. Hopefully we could run into each other at one of these shows. I'm down in North Carolina 100%. For a bit, but I got to get up to the Garden, and kind of maybe later in the season for some of these Eagles games, I'll be in the area. But we'll keep doing these podcasts, be able to react. I'm pretty flexible, like my schedule, so Wednesdays work. But if you if some sports news comes up and you want more instant reactions, like, you saw how easy it was to kind of hop on and press record, so just let me know.
Perfect.
And we'll kind of go 100%. From there. All right.
Excellent, man.
Till next time.
All right, Pete, man.